evening, everyone. My name is Akhila Chandrasekhar, and I head the US placements team here at Miles Education. So, welcome everyone to this amazing session where we're going to take you through all the details of the US pathway. So, just to give you a heads up, the session is going to be a relatively short one today for about 45 minutes. So, we will try to cover as much as possible, and hopefully, this session should be a very productive session for you. So before we start, I would like to actually play a video for you to show you, a little bit of context of what we're going to talk about.
Akila, it's not audible.
So I hope you were able to hear these sounds. Okay, I guess there was a little bit of issue with the audio, so I'm going to play that video once again.
The global economy is in crisis. There's a huge accountant shortage, and America wants you.
There are 17% fewer accountants employed.
300,000 accountants and auditors leave the profession.
So let me get this straight. We're currently short on eggs, butter, and accountants.
Miles has cracked the puzzle for Indian accountants to work in the U.S. for 3 years. Become a flag bearer for Indian accounting talent as you live the great American dream.
Okay, I hope the audio was clear. Okay, I hope I'm back on. Okay, so I believe you would have already seen this poster for sure, where we are talking about a huge shortage of accountants. And, there has been a discussion about this for the last maybe 1.5 years now, saying that there's a serious shortage of accountants and America wants you, right? So the context of this is that in the last few years, maybe in the last 5 years or 10 years or so, what has been happening is that accounting as a profession has not been a very favorable profession for a lot of youngsters. Many youngsters are wanting to move to tech industry, perhaps looking at a different field altogether. So what happens is, as the existing accountants actually age, they retire, there is a reduction in the number of accountants, and the number of people who are coming into the profession has actually been reducing. So because of this, there is a steady decline in the number of accountants that has actually been coming into the profession itself, the number of accountants that are actually registering for the course in the universities. So in fact, recently there was an article also, I was just Googling it and checking it. So there has been an article where they have actually spoken about this, and they have started actually creating provisions for this in financial statements. So if you actually see in Washington Post, in Bloomberg, you will be able to see so many articles where they talk about the accountant shortage and how it threatens the capitalism future. And because of this, even the big fours have actually made a mention in their financial statements about how in the US, without accountants, it's actually going to become difficult. So when I say accountants, I'm talking about auditors, I'm talking about taxation professionals, the financial accounting sphere as a whole. So if you see here, the Washington Post has spoken about it, the Fortune magazine has spoken about it, Wall Street Journal has spoken about it. So they're struggling to find accountants. And this is the problem statement. The problem statement is that the number of accountants has actually been steadily declining. So we took some statistics just to show you. So this is from US Bureau of Labor Statistics and AICPA, where every year there is approximately 1,26,500 openings for accountants and auditors in the US every year. But there are only 72,923 accounting graduates who are actually completing the course and coming out of these universities. So first of all, number of people getting into universities itself is very less. And the number of people who are actually graduating and finishing their course and coming out is even more lesser. So 72,923. And obviously, because of this, there is a expected shortage of 53,000 plus every year. And now what has been happening is year on year, this decline only keeps snowballing, and there is a serious shortage, which has become a problem that everyone is talking about in the US. So then what did Miles do? Miles said, okay, we have a problem on hand. How can we solve this? So our CEO and founder, Mr. Varun Jain, spoke to a lot of universities, spoke to a lot of companies, and realized that, okay, there is a shortage of accountants there. Now, obviously, where do we have a lot of accountants and where do we have amazing talent? We have them in India. No, but obviously we cannot send all our Indian folks directly to the US, right? So there is a big catch to the whole thing, which is the visa part of it. So how did we actually solve this? How can we, come up with a proper, an amazing solution to make this whole thing sustainable? So what Varun Jain did was he picked up the power of STEM, which is used in the tech industries. So I'm sure all of you have relatives in the US, either as engineers or doctors, and typically people who from the science stream who have actually gone to the US. So what happens in a STEM-based program, which is science, technology, engineering, and math, is that because of the STEM portion, so we actually call this as a tech playbook. So what happens is that, let's take an example. Somebody completes BTech in India. Okay, they've finished 4 years of education. They go to the US to pursue their MS in computer science or any science related field. And they study for about 18 months to 2 years. Now, because of the STEM feature in their education, they get a 3-year OPT in the US. So OPT is optional practical training. They get an option to work in the US for 3 years after completion of their program without any additional visa, which means they don't need to apply for H1B immediately. They don't need an L1. They don't need any sort of other work permit. Directly with just completing their course, they will be able to get this OPT by default, and they can work there for minimum 3 years. Now, obviously, if the employer is happy with their work, they're going to sponsor H1B or they're going to apply for visa and get them to stay there long term. So what Miles did was we looked at this whole approach, and Mr. Varun Jain actually picked up this entire STEM-based approach and actually plugged and played it in the accounting sphere. So what happens is that there is a master's in accounting program in the US where it is still existing, and it was existing even before. But the catch was that we were allowed to work. Accountants who studied this master's in accounting program were allowed to work only for 1 year. Now it becomes very difficult when you can only go there, study for a year and work for a year, right? You will not be able to recoup the amount of money that you have spent on your education, and the time frame is also too short to actually gain that experience and showcase it back when you come back to India. So now what we did was we took the same STEM approach and inserted into the masters in accounting. So, Varun actually worked with several universities, explained the whole model, made them understand the benefits of this program, and these universities adopted the STEM into their masters in accounting program, and thus came the masters in accounting, which is the STEM based program. So just like engineers now, if you do this masters in accounting program, you will be able to work for 3 years in the US right after your masters, which means minimum you get to stay in the US for 4 years, and obviously after that, if the employer is happy with you, they will sponsor your H1. So let's talk about the different aspects in this whole thing, right? So on one hand, we have the Indian accountants, the CPA candidates who are aspiring to complete their CPA in India. Now, just like how we have the chartered accountants in India, they're considered as black belts in accounting, right? So in the US, it is CPA. So if you complete your CPA, you're considered like a Superman or Superwoman in the US, and you will be able to get a job pretty easily, either in accounting or auditing or taxation. So what happens is that on one hand, we have our students. On one hand, we have the public accounting firms. So just like we have chartered accountancy firms in India, we have the public accounting firms in the US. So what happens is that these public accounting firms are the ones who badly need accountants. They want auditors, they want taxation professionals, and they are in need of these professionals. On the other hand, we have the universities which actually have amazing programs, right? So masters in accounting program. Now they have added STEM also. So they need really good candidates to come into their programs. So what we at Miles did was we put together all these three facets and we made it into an amazing solution, which is the US pathway solution, where students can go to universities, study their masters in accounting program, work with these public accounting firms for 3 years, and thus was born the entire US pathway solution. So let's look at the different kinds of firms or different. So whenever I say firms, I mean the public accounting firms. So Miles, systematically in the last 1.5, 2 years, we have been working with all these different CPA firms. In fact, we've like partnered with more than 350 firms right now through state CPA societies and alliances. So in the US, a lot of these firms work together as a group calling themselves alliances. Likewise, every state in the US has its own state CPA society. So Miles has partnered with a lot of firms, a lot of societies, and a lot of alliances. And we have been actually talking to them, explaining about the solution. We have been spending actually millions of dollars in these conferences, going and educating people about the masters in accounting, the STEM route, telling them about the candidates that we have. And how we've been able to actually, help, or rather, how we will be able to help in making sure that the shortage of accountants is coming down to a great extent. Now, some of the alliances that we have been working is BDO Alliance, Allineal Global. RSM is one of the top firms that we have been working with. In fact, they've hired more than 50 candidates from Miles alone. So last year, we actually did several placement drives. So I would call it more like a meet and greet session where all these different firms from BDO Alliance, Allineal Global, RSM, they actually came and addressed so many of aspiring students such as yourself about the different opportunities and options in the US. So we had Lindsay Seipels from RSM, Rob and Tom from BDO Alliance, Paul Christine from Crow. We had an exclusive Allineal Global placement drive. We had Mark, who's the president and CEO of Allineal, coming and talking. ATKG, BPM, Eisner Amper, RBG, all these people had come in those sessions. So in fact, in the placement drive, it exceeded 5,000 number, and we had to open up a separate link, and actually the number of attendees were more than 7,200. And then we had to kind of actually restrict the number for the placement drive 3 because it became too big and too unmanageable. So the placement drive 3 was an exclusive BDO alliance where again Rob and Tom came and spoke. We had Blackman Slew, Burkett, Hancock, Marks Nelson, SB and Co, Urish Popek. So we had all these firms. So in fact, I'm going to play a couple of videos to show you how the placement drive looked like. Let me show that.
Warm welcome to second placement drive.
Wow, we have a lot of people on.
We're very honored to be here today.
My name is Jill Frank. I'm the Director of Talent Acquisition for BPM.
My name is Matthew. I head up the recruiting in Southern California.
I am a Senior Talent Acquisition Specialist here at Wolf & Company.
I'm very excited about speaking with you today.
I am the Recruiting Director here at Weaver. We are hiring accountants.
We're a top public accounting firm in Central Virginia. We're top 300 in the country. We all know that recruiting environment is challenging.
We are always looking for good people. That's the single, biggest challenge we have.
Super special program.
We hope to join this program and get some colleagues on board.
Thanks for the opportunity, Miles Education Crew.
A very, very warm welcome to our third placement drive today in collaboration with BDO Alliance.
There's somewhere between 40 to 50% shortage of students graduating from higher education.
All of our alliance firms are trying to figure out how to deal with the talent shortage we have here in the U.S.
We've been very impressed with the platform that Miles has created.
So the candidates have been impressive. The process has been pretty seamless.
We need resources. We need people to help build our practice.
We are looking for eager individuals, eager to learn, eager to work, eager to add an impact. We have our own in-staff learning and development team who focuses on building out an actual program for you.
I think that there is a lot of opportunity. I think there's not one firm probably on here that doesn't think about capacity needs every single day. I'm also humbled to present to such a large group of truly talented people.
Thank you again to you and Miles Education. Truly, we've enjoyed getting to know you.
So that was, the placement drive which we conducted last year. So again, we will be conducting similar placement drives starting August when, a lot of these firms actually come in and hire from the fall group. So next, we're going to move on to talking about the different universities that actually, have the Masters in Accounting program. That's the starting step for us, right? So if you look at it, we have several universities. In fact, Case Western Reserve University was the first university that we started, working with, where we have the highest cohort, 75 students who went in. We have Michigan State, 26, Rutgers, 26, RIT, Drexel, Delaware, DePaul, Clark. So the list actually goes on, and we are continuing to partner with several universities to give more options to students. And this year alone, we are expecting more than 1,100 students to actually go in. So, so there are basically two intakes, the fall intake and the spring intake. And last year, in the fall intake alone, we had more than 400 students. We had a smaller group which went in spring, roughly about 200 plus. And then again, this year alone, in the fall, we are expecting more than 1,200 students to actually go in. So that is the kind of number of students that are expected to go into this Masters in Accounting, and in a small way, trying to solve the shortage problem. So let's talk a little bit more about the program itself, right? So the Masters in Accounting program, the reason also that we have specifically mentioned STEM is that there is a big difference in the normal MS Accounting program and the MS Accounting STEM program. In the MS STEM accounting program, what makes it STEM is the business analytics paper that comes in. So roughly about 30% of the entire program is based on business analytics. So in business analytics, typically all the tools are taught. So we have probability statistics, business applications, Power BI, Tableau, Python. So there are several tools that are taught, which helps, in making the accounting profession far more efficient. So the remaining 70% of the work actually is based again on the CPA syllabus. So the best part is that while you are studying for your CPA itself, you will be also able to complete your Masters in Accounting or vice versa. If you start your Masters in Accounting program, you will be able to complete your CPA as well, because the syllabus is absolutely coinciding, and it is built in such a way that once you study for one, you will be able to study and clear the other as well. So if you see, the FAR papers are advanced financial reporting, advanced financial accountancy. The regulation taxation papers are advanced federal tax practice, bar is corporate reporting analysis, auditing. So 70% of the work, which is based on the CPA syllabus, is actually taught in the US university when you travel there. Now, what we have additionally done is we have broken this 30% of the course. So the entire program is for 30 credits. So 30% of that, the 9 credits, is actually something that is taught here in India itself. So what happens is that we have partnered with the University Jackson, which is an AACSB accredited Indian B school. So what happens is that when you study the 9 credits in India itself, the best part is that you get a lot of savings in terms of time and money, because one, you are studying here in an Indian based university, which is again AACSB accredited, while you are working. So it is an online program, so you can continue to keep working. So let's assume you are going in for the August intake, you register now, you can start studying for the 30% right now and complete it even before you go to the US. The remaining 70% is something which is taught in the US university once you land there. So essentially, you will be able to complete the entire program once you go to the US within 9 months. So I will be talking about the timelines, but this is just to give you an idea. So the advantage is that 30% of the coursework you complete in India. So as a result, you also save a lot of money in terms of the university because you're paying in Indian rupees here. The other thing is that because of the partnership that we have with JAXOM, with various universities in the US, you will be exempted from taking any GRE, GMAT, IELTS, TOEFL. So you don't really have to spend additional time and money actually studying for these courses. So, and the best part is because you will also be going through miles, you will also additionally get a lot of scholarships in on your tuition fees. This is because we are sending so many students there through the miles cohort. So we have this exclusive arrangement with the universities. So in terms of time and money, you actually end up saving a lot. So talking about the timeline, which I just explained. So the first step is you have to enroll for the miles program, which has to be like immediately. So once you actually enroll to the program, let's say, okay, now we are already in the end of May. Even if you enroll now in the beginning of June, you will actually be able to, take up the application process. So we have an amazing university team. So the university team will actually help you, fill in your application form, do whatever necessary paperwork, which is not much. And once you submit your application to the US universities, you will receive the offer letter within say 15, 20 days, maybe 25 days. Then what happens is that then you apply for your visa, and during the time that you're waiting for your visa, you don't have to really wait and waste your time. You can start the 9 credits which are just explained through the JAXOM JAXOM college. You can start, and you can actually complete the 9 credits even before August when you actually fly to the US. Let's say somewhere during this period you receive your visa, you can plan accordingly and then fly out to the US in August when your program will start. Now, for some reason you change your mind or the visa doesn't come through, you will be able to get a full refund of the fees. So no questions asked, you will be able to get that. So you don't have to worry about what happens if I don't get my visa for some reason. Okay, then once you fly in August, your program starts, and 9 months you will be able to complete your entire program, which is in May 2025. So during this period, you're also expected to study for your CPA and complete it because it goes parallelly hand in hand. And once you finish your program, you will be able to start working, and you will be able to work for 3 years without any other additional visa. Now, what we do additionally is that in the US, the placement works in a slightly different way. You actually don't have to wait till you graduate to apply for jobs. They start hiring much, much earlier, almost a year in advance. So the minute you decide to fly to the US and start your program, the placements team actually starts working with you, building your resume, and forwarding your resume to different firms that I just showed you, right? So we have the BDO Alliance firms, the Allineal Global, RSM Alliance firms. So we start sharing your profile with all these firms and arranging for your interviews, which will all be online. Now, so in fact, we had so many candidates last year, even before they flew, they started getting opportunities. And the minute they went and landed there, they got their offer letter. So we have several students like that who actually landed up with jobs as early as August and September and went on till October, November. And most of them got their jobs within like 3 months of actually landing in the US. So in fact, we have an alumni today, Vishesh Tulsian, who will be, talking about his story. He's from Rutgers and how he landed a job in RSM. Vishesh, are you already here? Okay, I don't hear Vishesh. So once Vishesh joins, we
Hello.
will.
Hey, Akira,
Yeah,
I'm
hi.
here.
I'm here. Okay. Hi, Vishesh. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Great. Thank you so much. So, Vishesh, would you like to share your story with all of us?
Yeah, sure. Good morning. Sorry, good morning for me. Good evening for everyone out here who's taken their time to join this webinar. So, just like you guys, 1 year ago, even I was attending one of these seminars, and someone else was speaking about his or her journey. And I was literally in the same webinar, listening to them and imagining myself in, their place. So I'm feeling, something that I wanted to feel 1 year ago. So my story goes like, I'm from Bangalore. I'm a BCom graduate. I've also done my MCom, and I'm pursuing my CPA. And I got a chance to I take the US pathway and come for Rutgers University. And I came over here in August. And as soon as I came here, Miles started helping me with the placement process. And I think by November, I had my job offer from RSM. And this whole 9 months or the last 1 year has been like surreal for me. It's been a life-changing experience. And Miles has been there to help me out with every step of the process.
Wonderful, Vishesh. So you have got placed in RSM New York, right? So how do you
Yes.
feel about the whole? I think your office is in Times Square. So how
Yeah.
do you feel about the whole? Are you excited? Are you looking forward to it?
I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to it because when I came here, I was like every normal person who's coming here, spending so many lakhs and coming here, they want to first what they want to do is secure a job. And little did I know that not only will I secure a job, but I will secure a job from a very good company such as RSM. And little did I know that I would actually work in the New York Times Square office. So I think it is just about, mm, not underestimating yourself and thinking that if put the hard work, I think it's possible. And I think anyone can get here. It's not really that hard. It's just that you have to be really, you have to be willing to like go all in and, not underestimate yourself and count yourself out of the lot that is coming with you.
Right, right. So how did Miles help you in the whole visa process and the interview process?
So actually, before, like after getting my acceptance from Rutgers, Miles had started taking these visa mock interviews where they prepared me for what kind of questions that they'll be asking and how I should prepare myself in a way where I get the visas. So I think 2 or 3 mock interviews were done, and with every small step, right from application of the visa to having any issue to taking the interviews and to actually clearing the visa interview, Miles has been there. And after getting the visas, when I came here, Miles has, I think, even before coming here, I had one mock interview regarding the placements. So the mock interviews for placements started like before I even flew away from India. And after coming here, like I think 2 months of like rigorous mock interviews and preparation was conducted by Miles, which actually helped me get through the interview.
Right.
So
Great.
yeah,
Awesome, awesome. So happy for you, Vishesh. All the very best. And thank you so much for joining us on Sunday morning.
thank you so much. No problem, Akila.
Thank you, and all the very best to you.
Thank you. Have a good time, guys.
Thank you. Okay, so before we go to the next part, I'm going to just play a short video again.
I got into RSM.
It's like the dream that I've been waiting for a very long time.
Within 3 months of coming to the US, I got placed in New York in a firm and I have a job offer letter.
First semester when I got a job, joined in September and I got placed in December. That's why I've traveled from India to US. I want that security. I want that dollars in my account.
This was always been a dream for me, and Miles helped me to get through this.
This is the American dream.
Hundreds of Miles alumni have been placed in the US at top accounting firms with a salary of more than $60,000, which is 50 lakh Indian rupees. Be the flag bearer of Indian accounting talent as you live the great American dream.
So just a sneak peek into the alumni who have got placed. I will be showing you more alumni success stories in a while. But moving on, so something that all of you, I'm sure, are very, very interested in knowing what your investment is going to be. So if you look at it, the first step, most important step, which is enrolling for the pathway program. So that will be roughly around 20,000 rupees. So as I mentioned earlier, for whatever reason, your visa does not come through or your program, like you don't take up the program, this will be refunded to you. This is more to understand, your seriousness and just to get that intent right. So you will have to enroll for the US pathway program, which is the first step. So the link for the enrollment will actually be on the chat right now. One of my colleagues will be placing that, and I will show you the link as well. It's a fairly simple link. Just go in and pay that money, and one of our counselors will call you and get your details and get you connected with the university team and get your whole process started. The second step is enrolling for the Jackson program, which is about $9,900. So there is a loan available for everything except for the enrollment into the Miles pathway for the 20,000 rupees, and for receiving the visa part of it. So everything else, there is a loan available. So the second step is enroll for the Jackson program at $9,900. The next step would be applying for your visa, which is roughly about $2,000. So it includes the application fees for your university, the visa, everything, cost included. And the fourth step is the CPA program itself. Now, if you have already enrolled for CPA with Miles, you are already a CPA student, then you can just ignore this step. You have already paid for it. The next very important step is the actual US university fees, which is anywhere between $15,000 to $30,000. The difference in fees is because of location, because of the rating of the universities. And again, the university team inside Miles will guide you as to which is the perfect university for you based on your education, past experience. We will be guiding you on that. And the last bit of investment is your stay expenses. Now, assuming you have a very simple lifestyle, not a very luxurious extravagant lifestyle, it should not cost you more than $10,000. So if we actually take the total, let's talk about the ROI, right? So your initial investment is only the $2,000, which is the starting point. After that, everything else is through a loan. So you end up earning minimum $60,000 every year. So as you saw in one of the videos, we have kind of spoken to several firms, and 60,000 is the minimum that they offer. We are talking about different locations, right? So obviously different locations have different salaries, but the minimum salary will be $60,000. So 3 years into 60, $1,80,000, less your student loan, $43,000, interest on student loan, approximate taxes, and your living cost, you still end up having a saving of $50,000. This is the entire investment versus expense. So all of you are accountants, so you can surely understand the concept of ROI. So your minimum, the 2 lakhs only is out of pocket. Everything else is through a loan, roughly about 35 lakhs. And then you end up earning a salary of 50 lakhs per year, so 1.5 crores. And as I showed you earlier, you will still be able to pay off all your expenses and still save a good amount of money. So this is the link that I spoke to you about. So you simply have to log in to mileseducation.com/payment and make a payment of 20,000 rupees. So if for some reason, again, your visa doesn't come through, whatever reason your university does not accept, you will be eligible for a full refund. Okay. Now, these are some of our alumni success stories. So in fall 2023, we had a huge cohort going into Case Western Reserve University, roughly about 51 enrollments. We had Michigan State 14, Rutgers 26, DePaul 26. So as you can see, we've had a huge cohort in almost every university. These are some of the success stories. So, people have got placed at RSM, MBE, which is an RSM alliance firm, KSDT, Coalhagen. Again, a lot of folks, more than 50 of them have got placed with RSM alone. We have Mellon Smith and Pivot, we have Booz and Associates, and you can also see the different locations, right? So we had Texas, Massachusetts, Maryland, Michigan, California, New York, Arizona. So you can actually go ahead and see that students have got placed across firms and across locations. So we have William Keepers, we have Hancock, and this is again across the universities as well, right? So we have people from Case Western Reserve University, Rutgers, DePaul. So all these people have got placed. And these are some of the stories. So in fact, I'm going to show you a few videos as well of our alumni who've got placed.
Hundreds of Miles alumni have been placed at top public accounting firms in the US with a salary of over $60,000, which is 50 lakh Indian rupees.
Having the office right at the Times Square is quite a dream thing.
America has always been a lifelong dream for me. Miles has been someone who has been holding my hand.
So there is a total shortage. That is why we came in. That is where Miles made sure that we visit the grad.
Extremely grateful to Miles because they have helped us in like small things.
RSM people, they were like, we are not very keen on international students, but we are working with Miles.
You are to Miles, it's all sorted.
Okay, so those were some examples. So in fact,
the first time ever in history.
I will play another video for you in a while. This is more like on the fun side of it, how our alumni had a great get together at Varun's house and how they actually celebrated their, getting placed. So this is in fact Varun's house in New York. He's kind of moved, his house to US, looking at the potential and looking at the kind of response that we have got for Indian accountants in the US. And this is our placements team headed by Chandrasekhar. We have Cora Walmer, we have Jennifer. So we have a huge corporate relations team actually sitting in the US. We have more than 9 Americans, in fact, who are working with Miles, who actually go to these different conferences. Last year alone, I think we've spent more than $1 million in registering for these alliances and different conferences where we go and talk about the Miles solution, the US pathway, the kind of students that we have, and help in actually getting them placed. So we've been attending a lot of these conferences. In fact, let me show you, the LinkedIn page of the head of corporate relations. So this is Chandrasekhar, and I'm going to show you some of his posts. So in fact, all of you should ideally follow Varun Jain's LinkedIn page. You should follow Chandrasekhar's LinkedIn page. We have a few more like Kora's LinkedIn page where they go and actually post about the different conferences that they go to, the different kinds of firms that are happy to enroll our candidates and actually recruit our candidates. So if you see here, he just visited, so last week he has attended an executive team conference by Alenial Global in Arizona. So you can see the kind of way we have been presenting about Miles Education, about the solution. This is Mark, the president and CEO of Alenial Global. So we talk about Miles solution in all these conferences, and let's scroll down a little bit more. So in fact, we have partnered with Franklin University just last week, where we are adding more solutions to help the graduates there get their extra credits to pass the CPA exam. We have, we attended the Accounting Today conference. In fact, as we speak, about 7 or 8 of our colleagues from corporate relations team are attending an AICPA conference in Las Vegas. So I'm sure a post on that will come very soon. So you'll be able to see the kind of firms. So there are going to be more than 2,000 people attending this conference. So this is another conference which happened in Chicago. You can see this is actually hosted by RSM US Alliance. So we have Aaron and Daniel Nutter from our team, so who attended this conference. So you can see the kind of response. They have all been so actually happy to see that there's a ready-made solution available for them to attend and take. So this is the kind of response that has been coming in. There's another conference, executive team conference, that has been happening. So this is just to show you an example of the kind of efforts that Miles is actually putting in to make sure that we have visibility in the US and firms know that we have an amazing solution like this, amazing set of talented people who actually are traveling to the US to go and work there. Now, for some reason, let's say after 3 years, you want to come back to India. You can always come back to India after 3 years, and the experience that you gain there, you can use it here. So India has an India placements team as well. We will actually help you find a job here. Given that you have amazing experience, you will be at a much better situation than obviously what you left 3 years back. And the other option, of course, is that the firms there are happy to let candidates actually continue as a remote employee once you come back as well. So that is also another option. And of course, for if the employer likes you, they will sponsor for your H1B and you can decide to stay there. Again, this is totally at the discretion of the firm, and H1B is a lottery based system. But these are the different details. And on a conclusion note, I'm going to play another video. This is where the different students actually got into Varun's house and had a celebratory party. And our team of counselors are always there to kind of help you and answer your questions. But the first step is just log into the Miles Education, the payment page, and make that 20,000 rupees payment. Of course, you can walk into any of our Miles offices and talk to any of our counselors. We are available throughout the week. And all the very best. And I hope you take an amazing decision into your US career. So I'm going to play this video right now.
Miles 2023 in New York City, guys!
On that note, thank you everyone. Have a great evening, and hope you are hope you have a great career ahead. So the starting step is with you now. So all the very best.